you don't know who this guy is, Sargon of Akkad, I envy you. Still, I'm gonna curse you with the knowledge of his existence. I'm gonna tell you everything you need to know about him. And everything you need to know really is that he's another British snob who thinks that he's smarter than you because he speaks with a British accent. That's really the long and short of it. He's also a real racist in my humble opinion, alright? I know, like someone left a comment on my latest Nick Fuentes video. He said, oh, why would you repost Nick's clips? He roots for your demise because, you know, I'm brown, he's racist. But the same mental process that led me to believe that Nick Fuentes is not really racist, as in he doesn't hate other races, he doesn't wish them harm, also led me to believe that this dude is. And he's a real racist. Alright, I'll tell you the story why I believe that about him. It's a hilarious Joe Rogan story. But before that, in this video he was talking about Mahdi Hassan. Someone that I'm a fan of, doesn't mean that I agree with everything he says. And he was accusing him of being a liar. He was saying Mahdi Hassan is a liar. Then he told 4 lies about Muslims in like 4 seconds. And the reason I want to dispel these lies is because they sound like things that a casual person would believe about Muslims, you know? Like, oh, Muslim men force their daughters to get married. No, they don't. Anyway, the Joe Rogan story. Okay, so he appeared on Joe Rogan years ago, okay, and it went so horribly bad for him that Joe Rogan was rude to him. He was calling him, oh, aren't you a cute boy? Like things like that. He was talking in a way that's very uncharacteristic of Rogan. He's usually very polite with his guests. And even a while after the release of the podcast, Rogan deleted it from his channel, something that Rogan almost never does. Anyway, during this podcast, and before I tell you the word that he said, I want to tell you that he used to make hundreds of videos on Muslims, Muslim immigrants, Islam, how they are all like bad people. But I like listening to people who criticize what I believe in. I like listening to the other side of the aisle, all right, the other side of the spectrum or whatever. So I like listening to people who criticize Muslims and Islam. I like to poke holes in their arguments. And that never bothers me at all, you know, and I understand that not everybody's gonna agree with me. That's fine. But there is one word, one man in a world. He said one word. That was it. One word that he said. I was like, holy shit, that's hateful racist right there. A picture appeared on the screen of an American Muslim woman. And remember, this guy is not American. And this Muslim woman, this American Muslim woman, used the American flag to wrap her head. Instead of wearing a hijab, she used the American flag as a hijab. He murmured under his breath, you fucking whore. And he said it in such seething anger. He was like almost talking to himself. And I was like, what did this woman ever do to you? Just because she's wearing a hijab in the colors of the American flag, that really rubbed you the wrong way that badly? And he said, look at her covering her head. You fucking whore. He sent chills down my spine. He like whispered it. I was like, okay, you really hate Muslims for real. You're not like criticizing immigration policies, okay? And I never listened to anything from him again, ever. Just because he described this woman as a whore. Just because she was covering her head with the American flag. Anyway, so in this video, he's talking about Mahdi Hassan.
Anyway, he went to a private school that cost $200K for a single student's education. Jesus Christ.
Before we get into it, why throw this in there? Trying to antagonize people? He's not a politician. He's just a public speaker. His family was rich. Okay. Why does that bother you? And why, like, you're trying to alienate other people? That's really irrelevant to the topic at hand. But anyway.
And he called Muslims animals. Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah, calling non-Muslims animals. I don't know where he did that, but I can absolutely explain it. What elevates humans above animals, above cattle, is their relationship to God and their resistance to their carnal desires. And it's everywhere in the Quran that if you indulge in life the way animals do, like you eat, you go to the bathroom, you have sex, and then you die, you are like an animal. Rise above your animalistic nature. That's one of the principles of Islam. And if you choose to not, and also in another way that animals would like walk away from something that hurts them, you know, like if you try to burn an animal with fire, for example, the animal would walk away, right? But if you refuse to have a relationship with God, you are leading yourself to hell. Animals are not really that stupid even. Okay, so if you choose to live your life, you eat, you go to the bathroom, you have sex, and then you die eventually, yeah, you're a fucking animal then. A cow does that. Probably more efficiently than you. How many babies a random cow has in her lifetime? Now, would a Muslim describe every other non-Muslim as something less than human, like an animal? This is the opposite of what Islam teaches. And I can, expand on that, but this will bore you because just Google what Islam thinks about, people who are not Muslims. Fucking idiot. This is a lie. I don't know where this clip is. Like, where did Mahdi Hassan say that? But if he did, he was obviously talking about this idea that Islam elevates you from the animalistic baseline of all, mammals to something higher than that.
Yeah, he did a debate with Richard Dawkins where he told him that he honestly believes that Muhammad went to the moon or heaven or whatever on a winged horse, which hilarious.
Yeah, Muslims believe in miracles. They also believe that Jesus brought the dead back to life. What's your problem? We believe in God. We believe that Muhammad saw God while he was still alive, like before he died during this trip. We believe in a lot of miracles that would knock your socks off. This line of argument, oh, that's really hilarious. That would go over really well in a crowd of atheists. I don't even know what he believes. Is he a Christian? What the fuck is wrong with you? You're mocking the idea of miracles from God. Do you believe in God? Yeah, we believe. Like, I don't think this is like. What's your point here?
He said that forced marriages don't exist, and
Yeah, forced marriages don't exist. What the fuck is wrong with you? This is another fucking lie. Okay, I've never seen this in my real life. It's against Islam. Okay, maybe something like Crime and Punishment. Have you read this novel, Crime and Punishment, where the girl was practically being forced to marry a super rich guy to save her family from poverty? I can imagine something like that happening in a Muslim society. Maybe I've never heard of it even. Maybe that might happen, but that has nothing to do with Islam. In Islam, consent is very important for marriage. It's actually one of the what we call pillars of marriage. If it doesn't exist, the marriage is unlawful according to Islamic law. What they call arranged marriages is basically your mother telling you, "Hey, I saw this nice girl. She's the daughter of my friend. Please come to this family function next Friday." And you say, "Mom, I don't want to." And she says, "Please, come on, she's a nice girl." And you go and you fall in love. That's it. They're just a marriage that was arranged by the family because they want your loser ass to get married. But if you went there and you didn't like the girl, that would be the end of it. If she looked at you and said, "Huh, well, that looks like a loser," that would be the end of it as well. Like, arranged marriage is just a weird concept that exists in the West about the way people get married because you know that even like people now still in the Muslim world they use apps and I'm not against arranged marriage. The family helping the kids getting married. Getting to know each other through family meetings and stuff. What's wrong with that? It's not forced at all. It's almost impossible to force like people in the Muslim world to get married. Like, how would you even do that? Again, short of something horrible like your family being super poor and you get like a chance to marry a millionaire, your family would tell you, "Listen, bitch, get married now. Why don't you want to marry this fucking guy? What's wrong with you?" I can imagine something like this happening, but that's like how rare that is.
then British Muslims have got to own up to the issue of forced marriages. He
Yeah, I don't know what he means by that. Are there like forced marriages in Britain for like maybe citizenship reasons? Maybe. I don't know. But in Islam, that's not the thing. Bottom line.
When liberal principles are useful, he will use them against you. When he doesn't like them, for example, with the Second Amendment, he'll say, "Oh, I think we should change the Constitution to get rid of the Second Amendment."
What's wrong with him having opinions that are sometimes liberal and sometimes conservative? Does that mean that he's a hypocrite or something like that?
Callum carries on. Realizing the UK is going to shit, he decides to leave the US to work for Islamist Qatari state media Al Jazeera, which have been banned in Muslim countries for supporting extremists. Instead,
Al Jazeera is banned in Egypt because Egypt is a dictatorship because America organized a coup in Egypt and throughout the democratically elected regime. And Al Jazeera was probably the only international news outlet that was telling the truth about what happened in Egypt.
and so he as you can see, is exactly the kind of Islamo-communist that is trying to ruin the West.
Islamo-communist who's trying to ruin the West. Sometimes these people who exist in the West make me want to ruin the West for them because they're just so... they piss me off.